The Boys Season 3 Episode 6, Ending Explained. This show is just getting better and better by the week. The highly anticipated Herogasm landed on screen, and it's safe to say that it certainly didn't disappoint. With this episode being a pivotal one for a change in motives for many of the characters, I thought I'd break down and explain all that happened along with the ending. So let's get into it. Here is the Boys Season 3 Episode 6 Herogasm Ending Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. This episode specifically focused around Homelander's revelation of Soldier Boy and his attempt to try and take him out to stop him from causing any more carnage, but more importantly to not damage his ego, his reputation, and the love that the people have for him. This episode really played on Homelander's mental state, and everything that then went on to occur weakened it even further. We also saw from the boys' point of view them aiming to take down Homelander with their newly found weapon, which was Soldier Boy. And what made it even better was that all of this was taking place at Herogasm. I am going to break this video down by each individual arc that we saw develop in this specific episode. Homelander. Homelander is gradually getting weaker and weaker by the episode, in terms of his mental state. Physically, he's still the same, but in this episode, we saw his paranoia and fear of the public not loving him as much as they do reach the highest it's ever been. We saw him discover Soldier Boy destroying Crimson Countess, where he asked Black Noir to help him out as he was the only person he could trust. However, we then saw Black Noir take out his tracking chip and abandon Homelander, further adding to the paranoia, as we saw in Homelander's reaction when he was made aware of Black Noir's evading. This was also a moment that highlighted to Homelander the lack of control that he now has over the Seven, and it tied specifically into the ending of the episode with Starlight, where she went against Vought and Homelander. We also got a Norman Osborn style scene where we saw the inside of Homelander's mind personified by the version of himself that was sitting behind a mirror. It was really well executed in the sense that we got to see inside Homelander's mind for once, something that we never get to see. We saw the human side of Homelander, as his mind referred to it as. Homelander believes that he's this all-powerful being that is far superior to humans, which technically he is, but at his core he's still the very human that he was prior to being given Compound V. It was a nice touch that I think is foreshadowing on the demise of the character even further later on down the line. Maybe the small sense of humanity that he has left is the only thing that's preventing him from snapping and quite literally finishing off humankind completely. But if it's gone, then who knows what he will be capable of. We saw an epic fight scene in the final part where Butcher was on V, Hughie was on V, and Soldier Boy was there. They were battling Homelander, and it was quite literally the weakest we'd ever seen Homelander. He was moments away from being destroyed, and it was a phenomenal moment to watch. When he arrived back at his apartment, we saw bruising on his face, something that the character has never had, and you could see by the look in his eyes that he felt fearful. He'd never come that close to death before, and I believe he now truly believes that he can be beaten, a feeling that he's never experienced. So I imagine that it will take its toll on him even further as we embark onto the next episode. I feel there's going to be no holding back with this character moving forward, especially after Starlight exposed him for just how dangerous he actually is in her video that was being broadcast at the end of the episode. As he mentioned earlier on in the season, if the people don't love him, then fearing him is the next best thing. Who knows what Homelander is capable of after this episode? Soldier Boy. With Soldier Boy being an honorary member of the boys and agreeing to take out Homelander if the boys help him take down the supes that allowed him to be given to the Russians, we saw the deal very much underway and we witnessed them head to Herogasm. They did this with the hopes of taking out the TNT twins. We had an important revelation in this moment, where they informed us that it was Black Noir who was actually behind the transferring of Soldier Boy, which made sense as to why he got rid of his tracking chip the moment he saw the footage of Soldier Boy, as he knew that he'd be coming for him. From there, we then witnessed Soldier Boy's lack of control over his newfound powers, where instead of just taking out the TNT twins, he butchered many other supes that were participating in Herogasm. This was caused by the music that was being played in the background as it triggered a memory inside of his mind from when he was being held by the Russians. Soldier Boy's main motive is revenge, which isn't a good one to have, and I do believe that once he's got what he wants in taking down all of Payback, we'll see him set his eyes on Vought and the man who was formerly at the top, Stan Edgar. We also got to see just how strong Soulja Boy was against Homelander in this episode in their first battle. Despite Soulja Boy being as strong as he is, I do think that if this was a one-on-one with Homelander, Homelander would have definitely taken the victory. We've seen that the one thing that lets Soulja Boy down is how long it takes him to charge up the power that he has. It buys Homelander time to escape, and that's exactly what happened this time round. With Soulja Boy leaving the house with Butcher and Hughie following the battle, I think it's safe to say that he's going off to pick off Black Noir, which I imagine we'll see in the next episode. The Boys and Hughie. The boys spent most of their time this season split up and in conflict. We had Butcher and Hughie working alongside Soulja Boy to take out Homelander. We had Mother's Milk working with Starlight on trying to stop them from carrying this out. And we had Frenchie and Kimiko being held hostage by Little Nina. Butcher and Hughie are fully immersed within taking V24 to enable them to have their powers. We saw the buzz and feeling that it also gave them shortly after taking it. It's becoming something that they're relying on and I believe getting addicted to. And I think it's definitely going to come back to get them. With Maeve now captured or presumed dead, they have nobody to be able to supply it to them. And with Homelander now as angry as he could possibly be after they tried to kill him, they need to make sure that they keep their distance and hold on to what little V24 they have left for when it's truly needed. Hughie's internal battle of wanting to protect Starlight and not being the inferior person in the relationship was finally vocalized, and all of those jar-opening shots were justified for being included. We're seeing the very thing that Hughie wants to do for Starlight being the actual thing that's causing his relationship to crumble. And as Starlight said, it isn't the V talking, it's the actual Hughie. The underlying issues throughout their relationship have all been built to this moment, and you can see by the look that Starlight gave Hughie that there isn't much there between them at the moment. We heard from Mother's Milk the very thing that we had been seeing in his flashbacks throughout the entirety of Season 3, that Soulja Boy killed his family. This is his motive for wanting to kill Soulja Boy and being so against the rest of the boys. As said, it's okay for Butcher to go after Homelander but not Soulja Boy, which is why you can imagine he feels the level of anger towards Butcher, because he's being a hypocrite. However, the one thing that gets me is that I feel is smarter than how he's acting. He knows just how powerful Soulja Boy is, and he's trying to take him one-on-one. I don't know whether it's being done like this just because it shows that he's acting on pure emotion rather than logic, but I hope it is, because I feel is definitely aware that Soulja Boy would be able to beat him quite easily, especially following what he's seen him do to everybody else. A-Train. I hate to say it, but I think A-Train has hopped on board a one-way ticket to the sky, not before completing his arc in the most beautiful way it could have possibly been finished. We saw him want to seek revenge on Blue Hawk for paralyzing his brother, and we got that and more. We witnessed A-Train arrive at Herogasm, and when Hughie asked him to apologize for Robin's death, which occurred in the first episode of Season 1, he actually did. We've always seen A-Train be this arrogant person who cared little for others, but he went on to apologize for what he did, something we've never seen him do. He did this because he now knew what it felt like based on what happened to his brother, and could therefore relate to the hurt that one can feel. After this, we saw him grab a hold of Blue Hawk and quite literally drag him at super speed across the road for miles. It wasn't a pretty sight, that's for sure, but A-Train killed Blue Hawk before holding onto his heart, which he knew would be damaged if he were to use his powers again, and he collapsed to the floor and took what looked like one final breath. I feel this character is definitely gone, and it was the perfect way for his journey to come to an end. A journey of redemption and discovery of empathy. Starlight. We had glimpses of how Starlight's character was going to be at the end of the episode when Newman approached her earlier on and asked her to work alongside her, which Starlight rudely declined, in her own way. She vocalized how she was done with it all, but we've heard her say that quite a lot over the years. However, she took to social media in the closing moments of the episode and exposed Vort's cover-ups, the truth behind Soup's true intentions, and just how dangerous Homelander is. This is the 4th episode in the season that is finished with Starlight in the final shot of the episode. I feel it's definitely intentional here, but I wonder if it's alluding to something bad coming Starlight's way. With her relationship with Hughie in the dirt, and siding with I believe she'll become the voice of the people as she quit being part of the Seven and is now being referred to as Annie. I'm intrigued to see how not only Vought, but Homelander specifically will react to this. I don't think it's going to be good. One thing that wasn't really addressed in this episode is the location of Maeve. A lot of folk, including myself, thought that she would be at Herogasm, which she wasn't. so I'm really interested to see just where Black Noir has taken her. Maybe he's with her now, seeing as though he's hiding from Homelander. This episode was definitely one of the best episodes of the season so far, and it was poignant in the sense that many characters' intentions were defined, and as we enter the latter part of the season, all characters have their motives and their goals, and it's clear to see. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week. So, there you have it, The Boys Season 3 Episode 6 Ending Explained. What did you think of Herogasm? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.